What is up, everybody? Welcome to Check the Net. Brought the throwback with the old
Yes.
intro. We are back on StreamYard. So the old intro had to make an appearance because of this nice little point streak we got going. And as you can obviously tell, I am Colin. This is Tito. A lot of been happening this past week, so Ashley will not be joining us. We would normally do our recordings Tuesday night, but a series of unfortunate events have happened, and we just did not get to it. So here we are doing a recap. 3 games in this episode. This is going to be a wild one, but a lot to talk about. Very, very much to talk about. Let me get through these, and we'll get through this down to the point. Check the Net's powered by Old City Sports Network. Go to Old City Sports Network, oldcitysports.com for all your OCSN podcast articles and much more. Go to facebook.com/Robert Hanghold Construction. If you're in the greater Philadelphia region, need some work done for your roof, window siding, etc. Call the number one contract in your area, 610-348-1066. Decals by Aaron for all your decal products. Your number one spot for everything Delco, iron and steel threads. Use promo code OLDCITY10, OLDE City 10 for 10% outside. Portion of those proceeds go to youth hockey organizations. UncleJohn'sBarbecue.com, customconcessions.net/home, Warlord Beard Oil. Use promo code OLDSports if you're old-fashioned. Click the following link below. 50% off beard oils, washes, soaps, and others. Get $75 off your free shipping. SeatGeek.com. Download the app. Use promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off your first purchase. Subscribe to our YouTube page. And we are back. I've been saying this for the past few times, Tito. We are back. Back on StreamYard. Back to a little bit more comfortability. I missed this thing. I really did. All of our old videos are on here, so it's a lot of fun for that. Just kind of clicked through earlier when I was waiting for you. But anyway, my guy, how are you doing? What's going on in the world of Tito over there?
Doing good, man. It's good to see points being put up on the standings and getting us to a level where we can feel a little bit more comfortable even through the uncomfortable times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And speaking of that, we're just going to jump right into this because, like I said, we got 3, maybe 4 games to cover. I'm not sure if you want to touch the U.S. Open or not. I didn't watch a single minute of that game. So if we touch on anything, that's going to be all you, my guy. But touching on the first game, we went to CF Montreal. Going to that game, going up against easily the worst team in the Eastern Conference, coming away with a 2-1 victory. Very, very how do you describe that game? Like high-powered, like it felt like a trap game because they were looking forward to Columbus. It felt like one of those games that, everybody's just going to give us our best shot. Like it just feels like that going forward anymore. Am I right or am I wrong with that?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when we go north of the border, it always feels like a trap game. We always end up facing Montreal or Toronto when they're like on a skid or something like that, and they're looking to break it. So, you kind of always have that feeling, and the way Montreal was knocking at the door on a lot of good teams and then just couldn't pull out the win. So it's not like they're getting blown out 5, 6, 7, nothing. So you kind of expect it to be a little bit more of a challenge. Still don't. I felt like a little disappointed in that win, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if I'm going back into our little game, just even going to pull this up right now, going back to our little game, we all had multiple goal scores. I think hold on, I got it right here. You had 4-0. I had 5-0, and Ashley had 3-1. Like just even on that note alone, we were expecting multiple breakout performances, and here we walk away with a 2-1 win. Indy Vassilev starts it off really, really well. That was one of the prettier goals that I've seen probably from any MLS team in a long, long time too, if we're even talking about it. Am I right? Or am I like from our 18 to the other 18, it just as I'm watching, I'm like, ooh, pretty passes. It kind of felt, this is going to sound really stupid and really cliche. It kind of felt like that moment when you're watching Ted Lasso in season 3 when they're playing Total Football and every pass is like, ooh, and then the finish was perfect. Like it felt like a Ted Lasso moment for the Philadelphia Union where you're just, that's how I felt. I'm watching going, damn, this is beautiful. This is beautiful soccer I'm watching right now.
And when you see it happen so early on, and you see that we have them kind of on the ropes for a decent amount of the time after, I'd say at least another 10, 15 minutes or so, we could have had 1 or 2 more right there. And so, yeah, it's like that moment of oh, man, we're not too far off with this spread that we were predicting for the game. And then as the game progresses, get a little bit more nervous, get a little bit more uncomfortable. They score that goal to tie it up. I mean, you could just kind of feel the wind deflate the sails,
especially right before half. Like just like we were, exactly like you said, we were all predicting high scoring from the Philadelphia Union at this point, and a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game, absolutely massive, no matter who you're playing. But just to add the fact that it was Montreal, and it was like, all right, cool, this is a game. Like, we're all worried about always going to Canada to play. And I'm like, damn, one goal in 2 minutes? Like, all right, cool. Maybe we're going to get 3, 4, 5. Like, our predictions felt like it was good. And just to be so deflated going into halftime as a 1-1 tie, I was like, damn, Carnell better come up with something.
Well, the thing is, too, it's not even that it deflated immediately with the goal. It was already the wind was already being taken out of our sails. It had been a solid 10 minutes of them just pounding and pounding and pounding. They were, there's no reason that they couldn't have won that game over us. 4-2. So it's always great to pull out that last minute goal to get yourself up and everything like that, to win instead of draw, especially when you're playing a bottom team in the league. And just because you're a bottom team in the league doesn't
mean on
the
road.
Compete.
We got to mention on the road as well. Like, that's right. A very massive key.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, that should have been a confidence building game. And I don't know how much confidence you take out of a game like that, where you were controlled pretty much, I'd say, half the game, if not more, maybe 2/3 of the game. We came out real strong and we finished real strong, and that's kind of about it.
Yeah, everything in between is like, what are we doing here? And that seems like it's been like a running theme with this.
Just gonna say that.
Okay, cool. Like, this is how in sync you and I can be when it comes to the Philadelphia Union talk. It is kind of crazy that not that we're gonna get into this later, but prime example, last night we're down 2-0 to the Galaxy. Like, what are we doing? That's another team that you should be capitalizing on. How, granted, it's a short week, they got blown out 7-0. Their misfortunes. Yeah, you should be capitalizing on this and giving this fan base, a good, all right, cool. We're out for blood this season. And it just, granted, they got the win in both situations that we're talking about. I understand that completely. However, did not make me feel any better knowing that, well, damn, we had to come from behind in a game against the Galaxy at home, and we just did it a week or so ago to Montreal. We had to go on the road. Now, granted, again, like I said, on the road, across the border, everything's always different with us, understandably so. However, it's still a good win. But I still have questions. As a second-place team in the East, I'm still sitting here going, which Union team am I going to get week in and week out?
Is this a Cinderella story, or is this the way that the schedule has laid out for us so far? That's the question that I keep coming up with. It's absolutely possible that this ends up being a full Cinderella story as we progress through the season. But there's also potential that we turn back into a pumpkin at midnight.
I don't. Okay, define pumpkin, because I think there are two different ways that you can go about this with pumpkin. Because,
well, I think at this point you're looking at this where we are in the season right now, looking at the remaining schedule.
Second in the East.
Second in the East. I think it's third or fourth overall. You third. Maintain at least that position. If you slip 2 positions. That keeps you in that Cinderella story, and we power through the playoffs. Now, pumpkin, get to that first round of playoffs and then get bumped.
Okay. I'm thinking you're thinking
that would be my pumpkin.
So pumpkin, maybe 7-8 seed in the East is what you're thinking.
No. Even if we land a 5 or a 6 and then we get in the first round and we just get bounced. That would be the pumpkin of the season.
Pumpkin season for you is first round exit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then let's
absolutely.
Let's
at this point in the season, look at where we're at. We're match day 13.
Yes.
Yeah. So match day 13. So we're a third of the way through the season.
Yeah, I'm counting. I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so we're a
The schedule's
little over
right
a third
there
of the
in
way
front of
through
me.
the season. So when you think about it in that aspect, if we can maintain this pace, we stay above that 4 line, right?
Which is what you want.
Which is what we want. Now, we're still in that stretch that I think it was either the last episode or the episode before. I had said the stretch from Montreal to Miami, we need to win at least 3, and I'd like to see a tie. So I think I said 10 points.
Yeah, I think we're on the same thing because if we're looking at it right now, again, my schedule is right there. That's what I'm looking at. So we're looking at the Montreal, and there's the win we were talking about. Columbus, as much as we don't like what had happened, there's your tie that you were talking about. LA's the win. Now we got Atlanta and Miami to close out the month. No, I lied. We have Atlanta, Miami, Toronto, and then Dallas. And I think I was extending that into this is the month from hell for us because Dallas is starting to look a little bit sharper. Miami has Messi and has always been Achilles heel. Now, whether he plays or not this coming match on Saturday, no, not next Saturday. I apologize. This Saturday is Atlanta Ducks. I'm looking right at it. I'm so stupid sometimes, bro. I'm so sorry, man. But I'm extending that until the Dallas game that we need to have a good showing. Now,
yeah. I mean, I was only stopping at the Miami games because what we were talking about before is that, we obviously can only play the schedule that's put before us, but we haven't had any major tests so far this season, and except for like 1 or 2. And the tests that we have had, we did not do well on. So going through this stretch where we knew we were going to play a team, like Columbus, who is going to always, like year in and year out, is a top East team. LA Galaxy, who was kind of crap in the bed, but they're a team that can easily switch it on.
They're still the defending champs. Like everybody, like Eagles fans. Correct. Eagles fans are prime examples of that. Well, we're the defending champs. You always got to fear us. And I can say that knowing that none of us really care about neither of us care about the Eagles.
But yeah, when we were talking about this, we're 9, 10, 11 games into the season. That's still an early point. You can still turn things around. There's a lot of teams that have done that in the past and then ended up like a 6 seed. So LA is one of those teams, the Galaxy in specific is one of those teams. Look at their storied franchise. Look at how they handle things. And there's not a lot of guys not a lot of guys that are missing or key components that are missing. I think there's they're just missing on a couple things. When we get to the game last night, I mean, we can talk about how they're just missing a couple things, and it's more dysfunction amongst the players than it is like lack of talent or lack of ability.
And let's be honest, that first half, that did not look like dysfunction. They looked like a well-oiled machine. They were clicking on all cylinders.
Correct. They just can't do that for 90 at this point is what it looks like.
Yeah, well, we saw it was 45, thank God,
But we knew that LA could potentially be a tough game. We know that Miami is going to be a tough game. We knew Columbus was going to be a tough game. We figured that Montreal was kind of going to be a gimme. You know what I mean? We figured the Open Cup was going to be a gimme or a trap, one of the two. I mean,
I didn't think. Let's go trap game with those.
I didn't think Montreal was going to be as much of a trap as it ended up being. I mean, we got the points, and let's be happy about that, of course. But if we're going to be on the realist side of it, and like you're looking at it from like an analytical standpoint, not our best showing. So when you have a confidence building game like that, and then you go into this, and like Atlanta on the road, that's never fun for the Union ever.
The turf always kills the Union. The turf is a massive thing. That's why I hate playing in New England. When Montreal goes to play in what's the dome that they play in? I forget. The Expos played there. I can't remember the name of it, but the Expos played there too, and that's where they played. Like that's where Uwa made his Union debut. Wow, I can't talk today. I am so sorry. Debut, not debut. What the fuck am I saying? Anyway, but like that was a prime example too. They're playing on turf. That was a sketchy game. You look at all these teams that have turf too. Like, we're worried always about going through the list. Atlanta's always the one. You know what I mean? New England's always the one. Charlotte, going down to Charlotte, that's always been a trap game for us too because of all this AstroTurf. So one of the things
that stretch was kind of brutal. We needed those confidence building games, and both of the games that I would have thought would have been confidence builders for us going through this stretch. One, I mean, sure, a little bit of confidence that you can grind out a game and that you can last the full 90 plus.
I
if
agree.
needed.
I think too, and I'm going to say this. This was said to me last night, and I think I'm on the same page as this man. If Curtin's this team coach for this team, I don't think we pull those two out. I think we're fighting for the ties, and we're fine with it. This was said to me last night, and I kind of agree. Because of all the previous showings. I mean, it felt maybe it was a kind of like all right, this is our new team. This is how we're going to deal with it. Yes, I agree with that. However, part of me did agree with like maybe this isn't the same type of team that Curtin wouldn't be making the same moves, or we wouldn't have the same type of motivation coming out of halftime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we have. I think we're gonna have critiques either way. You know, we're gonna have critiques of Carnell. We're gonna have critiques of Curtin. I think that if you look at the longevity of the tenure of Curtin, and you look at that over time, the last couple of seasons he kind of pushed that defend the draw, get the points, survive, and move on. And I think that part of that was the lack of the faith that he had in the depth that we have had available at that time. We don't have that anymore, and I'm frustrated with that narrative only because of the fact that people seem to forget that. People seem to forget that we didn't have a super sub at striker. We were getting guys that were bottom of the barrel MLS guys that maybe are going to go play in a second or third league in Europe if they're lucky. You know, like
I can agree with that. I can fully agree with
that. Although last season, I would say I would have agreed. This season, with the roster that we have and the availability that we have, I don't know if I could say that.
Okay, so let me backtrack real quick because there's something that you said that I want to bring back, and this is going to basically put an end to this whatever talk, Montreal talk. We're talking about confidence booster. Mikal Uwa scoring that 90th minute goal has been a different player since then, and I am not here. And I defended him last night to 3 or 4 of my friends, and they're very good friends of mine. And one of them will be joining us eventually. He wants to come on join our episode. I told him he has to get a microphone though, and act like he knows what he's doing. Coming at me with Mikal Uwa hate, don't come for it. The man since that game has been playing unbelievable. Granted, the Columbus game, we're going to get into that. He should have hit that. But the 2 goals that he's been a part of for the game winners, i.e. the one against Montreal, the game winner, and the setup, I get it, Bariba was man of the match, but that setup that Uwa had, phenomenal. Confidence boosted, like we're saying. The man's playing well, and I like the form he's in. It's a shame that I feel like he's on his way out. I don't like that. However, I think he's settling into the super sub role, and I think he's settling in extremely well. Thoughts?
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. I mean, the play last night was – like,
I don't know
where
many
do you get
people
the confidence to make that dig?
Yes,
where do you get the confidence to make that dig? You are completely back to where you need to be. You stop it. You get enough space, create enough space where there's no space between you and the goal line, and you somehow convince the defender to back off enough for you to hook it over. That's crazy.
Phenomenal. And again, I think this is a better role for him. Granted, he is one of our highest paid players, which I was getting into one of the arguments that the guy said to me last night was, well, he shouldn't be our super sub if he's our highest paid player. But look at the freedom he has now.
At the end of the day, Bruno is making more money now with the record signing. So who do you want to be your super sub? The guy that makes more money or the guy that makes less money? I'm
agreeing with you on that. And this is where I get into it with him. And I said Bruno's our top play. But Uwa's playing more free, and I can see it. And I've seen it since the Bruno. Uwa is getting more free, like more freedom to do whatever the hell he wants to. He's firing at will. I'm a big fan of how many shots on goal he's been taking. I really, really am. And sooner or later, they're going to go through. And let's not forget, all this Uwa hate. This man is 4th on our storied franchise in goals scored. He could catch Danny before he leaves if he starts seeing some go in. Like I'm not here for the Uwa hate, and I'm getting tired of it. The man is. We're gonna miss the dude if he's when he leaves. Like
the other thing you got to think about is he's been here less time than Gaz was. I think it's another year, and they would be equal. Because I think he was here. Gaz was here a year or 2 years before Uwa came.
Gaz was a half year. Like he came in like that summer transfer.
Window. Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't a full year.
It was like a half year because he came in and he hit the playoff winner against Nashville. And
Yeah,
then we
that's right.
Then we had the COVID for NYC, and then we signed Ua in the offseason. So it's a half season, but still.
But what's his total right now? I want to say it's like 40 something, right?
Yeah, I think it's 44 is what or 43 or 44.
So he's 10 or 11 off of the all-time record.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
sorry, I'm drinking water. I'm really dehydrated.
That's extremely easy in just the rest of this season alone. I mean, realistically,
Realistically, yeah. So big balls on the confidence booster is what I just said. I need like beer or something at this point just to like settle me down because this is like so big confidence booster win. Big confidence booster for Mikal Ua alone. My friend, final thoughts on Montreal. Give it to Ashley Taylor. Her little signature. All right. I'm all right. I'm gonna go 3/4. 3/4 thumbs up. I'm gonna go 3/4.
I'm gonna go half. And the only reason that we got half is because we won that game.
So your half is we won the game. My 3/4 is that with the confidence booster. That got me to like all right, cool. We're 3/4 away of like all right, good thumbs up. You know what I mean? Look, we got your own little intro for this, Ash. So let's touch base real quick on the U.S. Open Cup. I unfortunately did not watch it. I was at work. I did hear about it, and I got to tell you, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous about the report I was told about. Were you at the game? Give me some insight. Give me like what you're feeling. This little 5-minute segment is all about you, U.S. Open Cup. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, talk about a trap game. I mean, nobody expected it to be as close as it was. Not saying it was going to be a blowout, but like a 1-1 draw that goes 120 in the PKs and we win by 5-4 in the PKs. I mean, you don't look at that. That's not what you're looking for against the USL team. And I mean, mind you, Indy 11 is not sitting at the top of the charts in USL. So we're playing a team that did have a lot of prior MLS experience, guys who have played before. It's not like they're like some rec team that they're playing against. We get that. And any day of the week, any team can beat any team. Get it. But it all came down to bad coaching strategy. And if anybody has any disagreements, I'd love to hear the deepness of the disagreements because for the first 45 minutes of the game, all we did was feed Kevin to try to get him to score. We were so overly confident going into that game that we were going to blow them out, that we were wasted 45 minutes of the game feeding Cav. And they picked up on it in the first 5 minutes. So he was kind of marked, or they would make sure he was pushed out a little bit too far or something like that. And he did come close. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the kid's got talent. The kid is going to be great. He's 15. Stop putting the pressure on him like that. Stop blowing the ball to him for 15 minutes or for 45 minutes and expecting, okay, he didn't hit the net, didn't hit the back of the net. Do you think that's a confidence booster that you just spent 45 minutes doing that and you couldn't do it?
I think one of the things, let me jump in here real quick. I think one of the things that's really driving me nuts is people forget that he's 15 playing in a grown man's league. When I hear in a 2-1 game against Columbus, we're going to go back to this. In a 2-1 game against Columbus in the 83rd minute, I don't need to be hearing we want Cavan, or at 65 minutes. Whenever the Sons of Ben started chanting we want Cavan, this is a really important game. I don't need to see the 15-year-old against the number one team in the East, they're going to bully him. They're going to bully the absolute hell out of him.
They're going to try.
I get it. I get the hype. I understand the hype. But the kid is 15. He's not Lamine Yamal over there in Barcelona blowing everybody away with his size and speed and everything else. He is not tall. He is not strong. Okay? He might be strong for his age.
He's strong for his age.
But you're going against people that have been playing this in this. Who is it? Last night I forget who was mentioned, but he's like, oh, it's his 16th year in the league, and he's 30 years old. Brother, this is what I'm talking about. That cat's been in the league as long as you've been alive. I forget who it was. Somebody on the Galaxy last night. I forget the man's name. But I'm sitting there watching the game, and I go, yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He's 30 years old. He's been in the league as long as Kevin's been alive. He's a grown man. These are grown men that are playing this game. And the Cavan, let's get him in. Let's get him in if we're up 3 or 4-1. I'm fine with that. But if we're in a tight game,
build his confidence.
We're in a tight game, and you can see it. I've seen it the past few games. I've been on the sideline that he doesn't get in. He's getting pissed, and I can understand it because I was a kid once, wanted to play every minute that I've ever wanted to play. I understand that. However, dude, you're going against grown ass men. back to the Indy 11, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So in the US Open game, I didn't have a problem with them starting. I thought it would have been a better.
I agree.
I would have felt that after the first couple direct attempts where they were, there were other options available, but you can see the strategy was to go straight to him. Have him facilitate. Get him his first career assist. That's, in my books, at 15, there's no way you're not considering that a win.
Especially if his first assist is to his big brother. Like, that's what we're literally, the three of us all said it. Like, that's what we want to see more than anything is Kevin to Quinn or Quinn to Kevin. Goal scorer.
Of course. That would be amazing. But the thing is that we're putting so much pressure on that without saying that we're putting that much pressure on it. Nobody's going to press conferences and saying, we're looking for Kevin to score. They're always talking about, we're just looking for him to develop. We're going to get him the minutes that he's going to need to build and everything like that. But then when you see the strategy like that, I mean, I'm just going to keep saying it. It's bad coaching strategy. The games that we're drawing, the games that we're losing, it ends up being a bad coaching decision that costs us the game. It's not like some misplay or something like that. It's bad formation, bad substitution, lack of the ability to change on the fly and be flexible with your game plan. Those are the reasons we've been handicapped in big games this year. It's moving on from USO. The US Open game should have been a huge confidence builder for everybody that's not a regular day starter. That's what that game should have been.
All right, so like
Raffanello, David.
McConaughey getting the start too. Like you getting all these young kids that got the start and
get them their minutes. Let them build the confidence. They worked together in Union 2 for the last couple of years. Give them that opportunity to try to shine at least a little bit. Yes, we want to win the U.S. Open. I think that if we don't want to win the U.S. Open, there is a fundamental problem with our front office. And in the first 45 minutes,
just getting a trophy.
I think the first 45 minutes made me doubt whether or not we were serious about winning the U.S. Open. The second 45, I think we played a little bit harder, but we just couldn't get to where we needed to be. And it seemed like the plan going into extras was let's brace in for PKs.
It felt like the survive in advance is what you're trying to tell me.
Correct.
Okay, that I have. Okay, so I have a problem with that, obviously. With what you just said, now my thoughts are this is just a debut. This is just a showcase for our young kids. Let's see how many we can sell. And I'm not a fan of that. Now, again, I didn't watch the U.S. Open. I know I've been a very big advocate for it. I was at work, couldn't get it on my TVs because I think it was on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus at work, so I didn't get to watch it and haven't been able to watch the replay. So I'm just trusting your judgment on this one, and you're one of the very few people I trust when it comes to the Union. So, final thoughts, U.S. Open Cup game. Give me your Ashley Taylor reaction. Big thumbs down, even on a PK win. I can 100%.
I can't even with the advance and survive. I can't even go halfway because the entire decision. I
think it's like all right. Let's go with like a gas tank. We're at like a quarter of the way empty, or like
I was gassed.
You're like right at
survive and advance, but it felt like we shouldn't be there.
You're like at the low fuel battery or low fuel light just came on. Like it just came on because you're like, oh,
yeah.
Whatever.
It's like, okay, maybe there was a moment to panic there, even though you're using like second tier guys and everything like that.
Yeah.
Not panic for the team moving forward, but panic as a fan wanting your team to win the US Open Cup. If we're talking about my thoughts on that versus the entirety of the regular season so far, we're just talking about US Open. It's a big fat all the way down. If we're talking about a game that's going on during the season and it's just, we're just throwing it in the mix, then maybe I'm like an eighth of a tank. Gaslight's just coming on.
I can agree with that. And I can agree with that because, it like you said, and like I said, it feels like it's now just becoming a showcase. And that's not what the U.S. Open Cup's about. Like, it's still one of the most prestigious trophies to win in American soccer. And like, if we're not going to take it seriously, then you're kind of slapping the fans in the face because the fan base, granted, it didn't show out on a Wednesday. I think come summertime when school's out, we're going to see that stadium full on a Wednesday because of how well they're playing. But
I don't think so for U.S. Open games in general, unless we're like maybe a semifinal or a final game. I don't
The
see
only
us
reason
getting
I
back
have
in the
hope,
house.
the only reason I have hope, sorry, my ear was itching. The only reason I have hope is because the Sons of Ben and a few others have made it a very big focal point that they were boycotting the Leagues Cup. So that's okay. I'm just being optimistic, bud. Let me just have my moment right here. So give it because I even have my ticket rep calling me. I'm like, listen, as soon as school's out, I'm going to be at every Wednesday game if I need to be, but I promise you that. So that's where my mentality is. I couldn't make it. My daughters have school. I don't live that close to Philly, so it's really hard for me to justify taking my daughter to a game, getting home at 11 o'clock, waking her up at 6 a.m. for school. So that's my excuse. Maybe come summertime, it maybe fills up a little bit, but again, neither here nor there. Let's move on to the big matchup. And I know we have a lot to talk about this one because it was the return of our triumphant hero and our legend, Daniel Gazdag. Very big, very nice ovation for him. He got the classic sucks. I'm sorry, Danny. I love you to death. I really do. But you're not on the Union. You got to sucks for me, and I'll applaud you afterwards. But during the intros, I'm not going to treat you anything special. This game meant a lot. This game meant a lot, not because of Danny's return, but you got the 1 versus 2. You got the team that everyone was chasing no matter what. You got the team that we're literally giving one of our best players to. You got the team that every team really realistically wants to be. They got the coach everybody wants to have in Wilfred Nancy. You got just the history of the Columbus Crew. Everybody is shooting to be a Columbus Crew right now. And I am pissed with this result. Absolutely pissed. That was one of those games where pre-game, I met with you, I met with Steven, I met with Joe, we had the whole crew there. And I was pissed off going into the game because it was Military Appreciation Night, and I have a very big bone to pick with the Philadelphia Union and the MLS that they didn't do jack shit for the armed services in the team store. I'm really pissed off about that. Very, very pissed off. So that'll be a different topic because I'm going to go off on that about this, but I'm going to talk about the game. Everybody I talked to before the game said they were okay with the tie. And I was like, I'm only okay with the tie if it's as an instance as last night where we were going in against the Galaxy. We were down 2-0 at halftime. And if we came back and fought and scratched to a tie, I'm fine with it. But the tie that we left with on Columbus Crew night pissed me off. Tito, I need your thoughts. Give me some, and we'll go off of that then.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Those types of draws feel like a loss. You don't feel happy that you scrapped the 1 point. The 1 point is almost meaningless the way that it deflates the ego of the fan.
Columbus is happy coming out of that game with 1 point. We all know that.
Absolutely. It showed the game. A majority of the game showed that we can hang with the big dogs. And that was something that, you and I have been questioning for weeks now. And to see that was very positive. To see that we're up 2-1, very positive. To see that we're shutting down their big guys. We're shutting down Rossi. We're shutting down JRR. We're shutting down Goss. Yeah. We're making them eat shit. And we're loving it, and the crowd is into it, and the team is into it. They're playing and they're battling, and they're leaving it all on the table, right? Yeah. And that's what you want to see in guys.
We're playing with a backup goalie again because Andre Blake is hurt, and Andrew Rick. I'm sorry, had a hell of a game. It's another one of those games that Andrew Rick. I'm not expecting that once I see him starting, I'm like, oh, shit, Blake's hurt. We're going against Columbus. This is going to be a loss, and I'll be fine with a tie if we scratch and claw back. Andrew Rick kept us in that game for a good portion of the time, too.
I think he's settling in to the potential of a starter very nicely. I think he's got a little ways to go, but I think he's, knocking on the door for sure.
He's right there. I think he's right there.
The kid has a command on the field for a youngster that you don't normally see.
It's still Blake's job. It's still Blake's home for the rest of his career. But
we're not
Andrew Rick is right there.
Yeah, we're not saying that push Blake out because Rick is ready and available.
No, absolutely.
Let him learn a little bit.
The Sons of Ben and everybody rioting if that's what we're doing. If Andre Blake is healthy and he's on the bench over Andrew Rick, I think people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, I think the River End might implode. But yeah, I mean, the Columbus game though, going back to it, I mean, we were good. We were playing so well. And honestly, I think it was around like the 60th minute, 65th minute when we started making the subs.
If I may, you ready? I'm going to throw this up there. 45th goal, we had the Ty Baribo at halftime off of an Andrew Rick and Quinn Sullivan goal. We then had a Frankie Westfield banger, absolute banger at the 64th minute. And I love when he scores or does anything towards the River End, because as much as we joke and we give the River End some shit and everything, that man is just – I love the kid. The kid's just going nuts, and I love it. He's saluting. He's trying to get the fans hype. I'm a big fan of what Frankie Westfield does whenever he gets it. The substitutions, the first substitution Union took place at was the 68th minute. Bruno comes off, and Mikael Ula comes on.
And it was at the same time Macania comes on and
Baribo
comes out.
Yep,
it was,
a minute later.
It was the same. It was actually like Uwa came in at the very end of the 68th minute, and then by the time Macania went on, it was the 69th minute. It was like one of those things.
ESPN being this bullshit.
Yeah, because they were both on the side together at the same time. I watched them both get called down and everything like that.
Yeah, because then at the 79th minute, we have Dono and Bueno on for Quinn and Danley, which that's one of those ones that I didn't agree with how – I mean, again, I'm always going to be up for the Bueno minutes because I think the man is phenomenal. However – taking off Quinn and Danley, I think you could have left them on. I get it. Probably the 45, the 120 minutes they played on U.S. Open Cup probably played a factor. But you got these boys on the ropes.
Well,
you had these boys on the ropes.
Neither Quinn or DJJ played or even dressed for the U.S. Open Cup. So that's not an excuse. Yeah. But the sub that really bothered me was we go up 2-1, and then you pull out Baribo and you put Macania in. So you go into a full defensive structure. Granted, I get it. You're pushing Quinn up to that striker role, and
but then you took Quinn out.
Well, I get it.
I get it.
But my thing is, it started with a bad decision, and then you went to try to adjust that decision with your next sub. But if you don't make that bad decision in the first place, I feel like we potentially get a third pretty quickly because we had them on the ropes, and those changes changed the dynamic.
Yeah,
it did.
Again, it's we just did it to Montreal, and they did it to us at the 93rd minute. We had 4 minutes of stoppage time, and they did it the 93rd. Yeah. Like it's that was a game that the whole stadium left deflated. Like I sat there. I sat there next to it was me, Steven, Megan. We brought our other friend, Jake, who was in the Army. We brought him for military appreciation night. Please don't let me forget this because I have a rant to go off on about. And then we had Cody and Maddie. Like we had all of us in there. And from the time Columbus scored till probably about the time that you saw me come down to the gate, Stephen, Cody, and Jake did not get up from their seat. They just sat down in shock. Like, what just happened?
I turned around and you and I kept staring at each other in disbelief. Disbelief. It wasn't even like frustration or anger. It was just, I don't know. To me,
the blank stare. It was the blank stare. Like,
I'd rather have any defender, be overzealous and make a mistake that, creates a fluke chance and they score a goal and then they draw. I'd much rather that than a bad coaching decision. The bad coaching decision is so easily correctable. Is less easily correctable than something that's on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like the on the field stuff, you can go back to practice. You can go to the film room. You can look at that and you can easily make the adjustment as a player. As a coach, I don't know, man.
And as the second place team in the East, I feel like this is not a conversation that we should be having. Is being like, come on, Carnell, you're better than this. I feel like this is now just becoming a fact of the matter of we are so talented that we're just superseding whatever Carnell's going to do. Now I could be wrong in that, and I probably am. Maybe Carnell is just a good coach, and we're just looking too much into this. However, man, that was not the result let me preface this. That was not the result I wanted, because even though I predicted 2-2 and I was right, I wanted to rub it in both of your faces. I really did. Yeah, look, she's over there laughing.
It just didn't feel good enough to do that.
It didn't. I was like, fuck, I'm right. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was one of those instances you didn't want to be right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And told you I normally am.
Yeah,
she's got her earbuds on too with her in her meeting, and she's even looking at me, giving me the finger. So,
yeah, I mean that's just one of those things, man. That we have those games throughout the season. It's not like all hope is lost. We're abandoning the ship, but it brings up questions that a team that sits 2 in the East should not be having. And again, I mean, I've had this conversation with a few people, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook or in person. When I talk about this, they're like, "Yeah, but look at where we're at," and I'm like, "Yeah, but we can." And I say, yes, but I want to make sure that we're taking that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that we aren't that good, because I think if you look at the roster, we are that good. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's not the talent on the field that's creating these draws or creating these losses, in my opinion. The draws and losses are due to strategy. And the guys on the field can only change so much. There's a coach that they have to listen to. There's a coach that they're following. Let
me also say this too. We would be saying, I know for a fact we would both be saying the same shit if this was a Curtin issue. Like I 100%.
We talked about it last year a lot.
Yeah.
We talked about
almost every game.
The every draw from last season, and listen, and like I said earlier on, the roster depth is much different, so it's kind of a different conversation. But it doesn't invalidate the fact that we were having conversations about the draws and about how the draws felt like losses last year, because we started parking the bus. How many times did we talk about that's not the way that we should be playing? That's not the way that any MLS team should be playing. It's not the way that the league is played.
Yeah.
Nobody is a dominant enough defensive force to say, we're going to park the bus and we really don't care because we're going to own you. It's not, this league is not built that way.
This isn't the Union from 2020, 2021, where we could do that. We had Jacob being in the best form of his life, Blake being the best form of his life, Elliott, same deal, Wagner fresh out there being, the unknown piece, but still being considered for one of the best left backs. This isn't the 2021 Union. This was 2024, where we were like, we're 4 years older, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we got a lot. We've got a lot of miles on them guys over the last few seasons and everything. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, we used to kill Curtin for that kind of stuff. When it came to like critiquing the games, like doing the Monday morning quarterback thing, and I just think it's hypocritical to hear the fan base not holding this coach to that same standard. I think it's a Philly standard. I don't think it's a Curtin standard. I think that that's the level of excellence that fans in Philadelphia expect.
I think part of it too is because of the longevity of Curtin's tenure here. I think a big part of it could be that, because look at what happened with the Eagles with Andy. I mean, it's not like we're not Eagles fans, but we still know how dumb they are and how much they talk. Like, Andy Reid was held to the same standard on his way out. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just maybe it's the longevity. Maybe it is because, it's a newer face. We're giving him a little bit longer of a leash. I don't know that.
I think for me, like, being around all Philly sports fans, it's not what have you done, it's what have you done for me lately. Even going into this last season, when you're talking about the Eagles, I know so many Eagles fans that were like, oh, yeah, we got bumped the first round of the playoffs last year. We'll see where we're at. In mid-season form, people were still doubting them. Fans were still doubting them. They were still being overly Negadelphians. But that's the standard that they expect from their sports teams. People are paying thousands of dollars a year to go to these games, to buy the food, to buy the merchandise, support their teams. They're expecting a return.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia holds you to it. Philadelphia radio, Philadelphia sports, like the city itself, they hold you to it. If you are not where you should be, you are held accountable. It could be a number 1 seed. It could be a number 10 seed.
Yeah. You got nothing. You got nothing more from me from that one. The one thing that I will point out too, we're talking about confidence boosters from Montreal. I'm talking about the one from Atlanta. Glesnes has played unbelievable since then. Since the Atlanta game at home, I think that, or no, is it? Yeah, it's Atlanta.
Yeah, it was
He
at
got
home.
the goal.
Yeah.
No, it was DC. He got the goal because Atlanta
Oh,
had
yeah.
questions. Ever since DC, Glesnes has been on a tear too. I mentioned it to Jake and Steven during the Columbus game. I was like, damn, Glesnes found his shit lately, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it's
I was just going to say, if we're going to talk about the last night's game, I mean, he got absolutely robbed of
yeah.
the actual score.
Yeah. I mean,
the official
look at the
scorecard.
fuck. I mean, that it was just that much of a fraction. It was either going to be an own goal or went to Harriel. So, like, well, to each his own. But big fan of the Golesnes turnaround because there were people calling for his head. And man, let me tell you, that man just said, I'm Jacob Golesnes. Everyone loves me, and just like started balling out. And I love that for him, really do. I think a big part of it, I'm going to use this too because someone who said this to me. A big part of it too is now that he's wearing the captain's band a lot more, even when Blake's not there, he's mentoring a lot. He's mentoring.
Yeah.
Harriel's played a lot better at center back than he has in recent years. Like Harriel's one of my favorite defenders. I love the way that kid plays, and Makanya too. When Makanya comes in, Glesnes feels when Makanya comes in, Glesnes feels really comfortable with him. Like
he's settled.
He's very settled, and it's really since Jan got hurt, he's like, all right, I got to step up. You know what I mean? Like all these guys said they had to step up, and Glesnes, I think, knew how good he knows how good he is. I think he just stepped up mentally to be like, I got to fucking be the on-field coach here. So
right. Well, and then people forget that not last season, but the season before, he ended the season on an injury.
Yeah.
And so he was playing through that injury at the end of the 2023 season, and then the first half of the 2024 season, he's still finishing rehab. You know what I mean? Realistically, he's still getting back to that form. Because if you look at him at the end of the season, he was starting to look like vintage Glesnes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think that the confidence building that he's done with the guys that he's with is exactly
what he needed.
Exactly playing a role, a huge role.
All right, your final thought. Ashley Taylor, thumbs up, thumbs down on this Columbus game, because then I'm going to give you mine and I'm going to give you my little spiel. Yeah, I'm right. I'm going to go 3/4. I'm going to go right there because I'm really pissed off about it. But
so I'm only staying, just the final thought with that, I'm only staying in the middle because I felt like I saw an initial strategy and adjustments to that strategy after that deflating goal.
I'm just doing it because I'm pissed off. And I was very pissed off after that game because, you had the game the whole time. Like, you really did. And it's maybe this is me being the negative man. This is negative Collins coming out because this is where I was at. From the start, from literally the moment I walked into that stadium to be basically shit on as a veteran, going there for military appreciation night, seeing literally nothing. Like, I don't – do you remember the camo jersey that I have? Mm-hmm. Like you've seen that one. I love that jersey. I got Kai, Ua, Gazdag. I got somebody else to sign it too. I forget. But I got my main four that I love to root for this team. I got that signed. I hang that up. I have that. It's one of my favorite jerseys. And as soon as I saw it for Military Appreciation Night, I bought that. I don't care. I'm very, very, very big on Military Appreciation Night. Being a veteran, obviously I didn't do my tours overseas, but my friends that did. My brothers that did, and they stepped on the yellow footprints as the Marine Corps. I'm not sure what the other ones do. I really apologize. I'm being disrespectful. But the fact that we all still signed our lives away, lost some of our brothers and sisters overseas, and to have those nights and to see everything, the NFL did the Arctic camo this past season, and I immediately bought 3 things. I thought that was the coolest looking thing. The MLB back in 2010, 2011, 2013, that they did a run of their camo, and it was the Marine Corps camo. I bought almost every hat I saw. I love the orange with the Orioles, so I bought a bunch of Orioles hats. Bought Phillies hats because they were like I said again, the Marine Corps camo. Shame on the MLS and shame on the fucking union for this. I am so pissed off. A T-shirt with the logo with 3 stars on it. Eat my freaking butt. That pissed me off more than words can describe. And the fact is too, like when we brought Jake, who's an Army vet too, and he was like, "Oh, cool! Like, what's Military Appreciation Day?" There was no scarves, there was no nothing. And the one thing that really made me mad even more is give it like a week or two. We're gonna see all this rainbow. We're gonna see all this bullshit that I'm not a big fan of, but I respect it enough for people with those rights. I understand it, but we will flaunt that as much as humanly possible. And it drives me nuts. It's 10 days till the next game. 10 days. And I saw a post this morning about, here's the Pride uniform. Get it while it's hot. Where was the military one? We got one for recycled jerseys, and they didn't even put any effort into it. And it was green, and it's gross. And people still bought that. You mean to tell me you couldn't think of one thing, even if you wanted something on your own just to be for that? You couldn't do something for military? You couldn't be like, you know what? Maybe we should do something. They did nothing, and I am pissed off about the union for that. I'm pissed off at the MLS for that too, but I mainly blame the MLS. But you have
the union front office can do something. They could do like their own design shirts and stuff like that for such thing. We were able to do this collaboration with PNS for the Chinese New Year, the wood snake. Which
I saw that
we talked about. Well, we talked about beginning of the year. Why this wasn't ready to go, why this wasn't in the pipeline, cocked and ready to blow in February during the time of Chinese New Year.
Yeah, seriously.
And our team is the snake. I mean,
and it's
the fact that you missed that. And, well, they did it now because it's AAPI Awareness Month.
I get that, but still.
My thing is, why not do both? If you're that really excited about it, get in contact. Like the guys from P's and Q's are awesome. Like they are good dudes. They do a lot of stuff that's great for the community. I support their shop. I support what they do as artists. I do. I think that they're a great organization that they could have worked with, but they could have had this in the pipeline, ready to go in February, and then either go with another culture that's Asian or Pacific Islander, and do that this month. But you miss those opportunities. It's like you're saying about the military appreciation. There's no reason we didn't have one or two shirts. Maybe you go to a local VFW or you go to a post or something like that. There's a lot of guys.
I grant it. I understand. We had the fly-in. Awesome. Everybody loves that. Great appreciation for that. You had the master sergeant, I believe, and the gunnery sergeant or the staff sergeant that did the national anthem. Great, but that's not it's not enough. I feel like for people that are giving their lives. Yeah,
it's a representation of that day, and it's only that day. It doesn't carry on like you're saying, the jersey or like the merch that you could buy. That's forever. As long as you take care of it, it's that shirt will last you a long time. That scarf will last you a long time.
I have three jerseys for military appreciation night. I have 3 jerseys upstairs in my closet, and I have 4 scarves. I would spend it, and I know a bunch of other veterans would spend the money for that.
They're forever keepsakes. That's what I'm trying to say. It's even if the league says, "Hey, we're not going to do a jersey," there's no reason that the union front office doesn't go, "Hey, we need to do something about this. We need to do something." These are especially when you have theme nights like we have, and you're so hard up on the theme nights. Like every other major theme night is gonna have, if not an exclusive top, like pregame top, they're definitely going to have some merch available.
Yeah.
But this has been consistent last couple of seasons that they do this later and later and later. Like maybe the game happens and then a couple months later, something comes out and you're like, okay.
Yeah, like they did it the one year. They did it the not Captain Marvel, like Captain America pregame jersey. I'm sorry, but that's not military appreciation enough for me. And that's the last thing I'm going to say on this. Shame on the union. Very mad about that. Again, tied in with the tie and how the game ended, and I left there pissed. Now we move on to we're going on for an hour, dude. This is awesome. Now we're going on to the epic proportion game last night of the LA Galaxy, and everybody and their mother, pre-games, everything, like Twitter, Facebook, everything, everybody commenting, this is a trap game. This has me worried. And God almighty, Tito, did it fucking feel like it?
Oh, it felt like a trap. I think I literally texted you the "it's a trap" gif from Star Wars.
Yeah, you sent me that because at the same time I sent a in the Dupe and Delinquent Discord, I sent a gif, a gif, or however everybody wants to say it. I sent it as a what the fuck is going on because they scored first, and that's when everybody did the same deal with it's a trap, oh my god, and you saw on the Discord people were like, okay, maybe we're going to come back. And then they went up 2-0, and it was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I seen a comment on Instagram earlier today that was like, I think we need a full transcript of that halftime speech, and that needs to be framed and put somewhere because whatever was said in that locker room or done in that locker room sparked a fire that was not seen at all. Not even like a peak of it in the first half.
No, the first half was slow. The first half was like, it was almost abysmal. It was almost as what we thought we were going to get from this team with all the new pieces and all the people that lost faith in the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like going pregame, or like I talked to a lot of people in the offseason that were like, man, I really hope this team doesn't even finish in the playoffs just because we couldn't stand what they got rid of everybody or anything.
So my scary part about that is like even with coming back and, you know, knocking out 3 in the last half, if the Galaxy decided to play 90 minutes of soccer, how's that?
Who's to say we don't lose that game?
How's that final look? Because a lot of the goals that we scored, I think 2 of them for sure, were on blatant defensive mistakes. Unmarked guys, somebody was like hobbling around. I mean, it was capitalizing on the mistakes to like
the fullest extent. Yes.
Perfection. That's really what it was. I mean, we played good. We were knocking on the door. We had our opportunities and everything like that. It's not saying that like we got lucky the whole second half. No, we played a dominant second half. But when we scored the goals, it was because we capitalized on their mistakes. And it was really mistakes that a team like the LA Galaxy in full form isn't going to make. You know,
if we're facing the Galaxy team, if we're facing the actual fully healthy Galaxy team and they weren't messing up, that they jump up 2-0 like that, they're probably ending up winning 4-1.
What? So I was where we were sitting. I was talking to a couple of the guys, and they said,
"Oh, you were there last night."
Oh yeah, I was there last night. Yeah,
I didn't see you in your seats. Where were you?
I was in my seat. I didn't have my hat.
That's what it was. You motherfucker.
You were there last night?
I'm like, that doesn't look. No, I was not there last night.
Oh,
no.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm watching. I had, she was here last night, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had 2 of my friends that sit in 136 came down and sat with me, and then somebody's dad came and hung out with us and sat in one of the seats as well. I think you and I talked about that.
Yes,
but,
I remember.
So we were talking about what type of strategy needs to be utilized to kind of curb LA. And I had said, like, I watched a bunch of their games. I watched a bunch of the late games and stuff on the West Coast, and they generally are kind of the feature that I want to see, especially with the slide that they're on. They hang around. If they can hang around, if you don't get off to a fast start against them, they're scary because they will beat up on you a little bit. If you can't capitalize on their mistakes, they can hold their lines. And they showed that in the first half. Like, there were a couple times where we had a couple good opportunities and an errant pass, or we decided to play back, or somebody decided to overserve,
or overcommit to a pass, like
right. But if we would have capitalized on those mistakes, it could have easily been 2-2 in the first half. It wasn't like we played completely abysmal. They just played extremely well in that first half. And then when it's like
they shot their load too soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then once the second half came around and we had the river end behind McCarthy. I mean, oh my God, fans were giving it to Hollywood. Let me tell you. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah. Like pregame, it was funny because he came over like in front of 139 and was talking to a lot of the guys on 139. And he's got a connection with a lot of them guys, you know. So
I was gonna say, like, talking shit, or is he just like,
yeah,
talking?
like friendly banter back and forth, you know, like good stuff,
Yeah.
stuff that you like to see. It's great for competition, great for the storylines and everything like that. You know, he's going up to, you know, trainers like Paul, and goes and sees Frank. You know, I'm not Carnell because Carnell wasn't here, but he's looking at a lot of the trainers and a lot of the assistant coaches that have been here and said, like, you know, hey, what's up? And like is making his rounds. And as he's going down the river end toward the tunnel to go back to the locker room after pregame warmups, every little group is giving it to him, and he's just right there smiling, taking it, giving it back. But when he came to our end in the second half and they were giving it to him, you could see it was getting under his skin. It was bugging the hell out of him, especially after that first goal. Incredible. Wow. Yeah.
You can tell when our former players come back to Philly that they just wanted, hi, Bubby. Little man's away from his nap. You can tell, like, McCarthy is one of them. Freeze is definitely one of them, that they just want to prove themselves right. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be like, yeah, you shouldn't have let me go. Now, granted, you're not Andre Blake. We were going to let you go. Like, we've had this conversation many a times. But you can tell that everybody that comes back plays a little bit of the chip on their shoulder. You know, our goalies, our former goalies, obviously they know that, like, they weren't ever going to replace Andre, so they enjoy, like, coming back here a lot more just to be like, see, look, I'm finally a starter. This is what you could have, but obviously it's not going to be. McCarthy's always got that one-up on us because he shut us out in the MLS Cup final. He shut us out. You know what I mean? He's always
2-up on us.
I know.
Because not only does he get let go, he goes and wins a chip with LAFC and then gets transferred to the Galaxy. And then goes and wins another chip.
I know. It's like but the LAFC one will hurt the most for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that sucks. But I don't want to bring that. I don't want to open up a
We're not going that far back.
No. But it's just the thought of just, like, McCarthy knows he has some on us. So granted, when he comes back here, he obviously wants to play well. But that's all he has to say is like, I got 2. Like, that's, if I was the goalie, if I was him and I hear them chirping, I would be like, 2, I got 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what I would be. But wow, giving it to him, that's pretty funny. But yeah, no, just watching it from home. Thank God I found, like, Steven text, like, I texted him earlier, like, during the game, because, you know, it's me, him, and Cody and Ash. Like, we have a little group chat, and I'm like, man, I just, you know what? Fuck podcasting. Let's just apply to be the Apple TV commentators, because these guys sucked. Oh my God, I can't stand Apple TV commentators.
I'm watching the game. Figured out the hack yet?
I figured it out. That's what I was about to tell you. Like,
okay.
Steven told me, he's like, yo, dummy, go to the bottom right-hand corner next to subtitles. You can change it to 97.5 with Dave Leno. And I go, there's no fucking way. After a year and a half, I finally learned how to do this. And I'm just going to say this. Once I figured out how to do this, we scored 2 goals. So I'm just going to take credit for this. Okay, it was great.
Well, you can't take credit. Dave's got to take the credit.
No, I'm going to take credit because it's after I switched that they scored 2 goals. So I'm going to take credit. You're welcome, Union fans. I'm taking full acceptance for the credit for scoring 3 goals in the second half, because I figured out how to transfer it to Dave Leno. Anyway, but different team, absolutely different team in the second half. First half, I mean, granted, I thought they were playing a little slow, lackadaisical in the first half. Like, you kind of felt like to me, like the Columbus match was wearing on them. Like, here we go again. But Baribo, great. Yeah. What can you say about Baribo anymore that we don't already know? The things that we have been saying as, like, friends texting each other before he even got this recognition about how much faith we had in the guy, how much we wanted this guy to be successful. Like, truly, I am in awe of just how phenomenal this guy is. He really, really is.
Yeah, and the passion that he shows. I mean, it's incredible. You look at, like,
he's embodied Philly. I feel like he's just truly embodied it.
He's confident, but he's humble, but he's also not afraid to bark up any tree if he needs to. And that's
look
what
at how
I
many times he got into it with the ref yesterday. Dude, that man was getting into it with everybody yesterday. He did not get.
Lesnar's got called over for the warning to tell him, like, I don't want to hear from him no more.
And he still did.
And
that was in the first half, and he still was chirping at the ref the whole game.
Or when Mikel got stepped on, and he came over and like tried to like run the dude over, but he kept his arms behind his back. He's like, "It's not me. I'm not doing nothing."
Pro move to go over and instigate and be like, "I'm just gonna put my hands behind my back. And good luck trying to get me."
Take the swing.
Pro move.
Grab my jersey. Do what you need to do.
I'm not touching you, but I'm gonna bump the hell out of you with my chest.
And I'm gonna chirp.
Move. Exactly. You swing on me, then my arms will come off. Like professional instigator. Like it gave massive Jose Martinez vibes. Could you imagine if Jose was here last night? Oh my god, dude, there would have been fights.
Yeah, incredible.
There would have been fights.
I mean, my biggest surprise of the game was the mid-game substitution on the reffing squad.
Yeah, that was. I had my friend Mike texted me. Obviously, I was talking to him all night about it. He was the one that he's the UA hater, and he's texting me. He goes, "Are you at the game?" And I was just like, "No," but I can tell the dude's hobbling. That's why if you actually were watching like the 5 or 10 minutes prior to it, and it obviously being at home, I saw a different angle. He was not feeling it from like the second half on. He was hobbling. He wasn't like, most referees are like, they're probably good 10 yards from the ball. He was about 25, 30. You could tell it was lingering from the second half on. So very, very weird dynamic to see a referee substitution in the middle of a game.
The best part was you got guys in Trey behind me and they're screaming,
shoot him like a horse or dig a hole in Effenberg.
They were doing the dig a hole, but they were also screaming for Kevin Casey to announce the sub so we can say they suck.
Yeah, right.
It was incredible.
I guarantee it. They probably had no idea it was a referee substitution.
Oh no, they knew it was. We all knew because you could see the fourth official was taking his stuff off, like he took his jersey off so that they could exchange the microphone pieces and everything. Initially, the guys on the side, the subs on our subs on our side, said that they were told it was a malfunction of the earpiece and that they were having problems going into halftime and they were trying to rectify it during halftime. So they had assumed that that's what it was. And so I was like, I don't know, man, that dude's taking his jersey off. And these guys are like, yeah, I think it's just the equipment, like the subs, like our guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, then when we see it switch, we're all cracking up because these guys are screaming like, yeah, hey, announce the sub in the minute. Yeah. We want to say they suck.
That's funny. Part of me. So throughout the game last night, I think that between my group chat that I have, I call it my Mi Amigos group chat. It's me, Steven, his fiance, my wife, and then our friend Cody, who every single person that's involved.
Yeah.
We're literally all texting about this game, watching it from home. And at one point, Steven's like, damn it, the Phillies are playing too. We're down 2-0. God, traffic's going to be a bitch to get home. By the end of the game, we were both like, shit, we should have went. Because we were like, oh, we don't want to be there. And then the second half just erupted. And we were like, damn, we should have been there. So it was a very roller coaster game last night. Yeah. Very, very roller coaster game last night. Very, very fun game to be like. That's one of those games that I'm happy that you were there and I was at home because you can see different dynamics of each game. You know what I mean?
It was incredible. The hype in the stadium was incredible. I haven't felt that energy in the stadium in a couple seasons. We had a couple magical games last year where the vibes were up, but it was different. Like the vibes last night were so different. And it wasn't a complete – they may have said it was a complete sellout, but the stadium was not full. It was probably
you saw it.
80, 90% full. It was close, but it was incredible. And it wasn't just these in the vibes before, it was like that sha-la-la-la-la chant that you can kind of get the whole stadium going and it's like pretty electric or whatever.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
But this was different. This was so different, It was unbelievable. You couldn't look anywhere in the stadium when that third goal was scored and see anybody sitting or see anybody that wasn't doing anything except for giving themselves a facelift because their smiles went to their temples. You know what I mean? It was an incredible feeling.
I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Man, oh man. I'm like I said, I'm a little upset I missed that. So quick final thought on Galaxy, because we still got two more things to. You're at 3/4. I think I'm at 3/4 too.
I'm at 3/4, and it's only because of the weird coaching decisions on the subs and the not adjusting the.
The fact that we were down 2-0 at half too.
I would have after that first goal. I would have liked to see more of an adjustment from the coach. That's
Hey Ash, we have a new. This is our new thing. You know how we give the Ashley Taylor seal of approval? Now we have to go like.
It's like a.
Yeah, it's like a gas at the meter. Yeah,
that's our final thought.
That's our final thought. Is we give the Ashley Taylor final thoughts, which is you're welcome. She's got to take care of the baby now, so I can do this. So, looking ahead, like I said, we got two more topics to talk about. Looking ahead, because we're kind of start doing recordings on Tuesday nights. Probably go back to live now that we're doing StreamYard. I don't know yet. We'll figure this out. Looking ahead to Atlanta. Scared. I don't know how we cannot be. It's a short week, playing it with the momentum, the high of LA, and the draw of Columbus. Atlanta being Atlanta, though, is what I mentioned earlier about the turf. I'm always nervous about that. I'm always going to be nervous about going away from home, going to a place that has turf fields. But I'm still pretty confident. I'm nervous, but I'm confident. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I'm going to say something pretty controversial. I'd like to see a 3-5-2 going into Atlanta. I'd like to see that extra midfielder on the attacking end. Somebody that's flexible enough to get back on defense, but I would love to see something like that. Stanley
he's calling for Rafa.
Say that again.
I said he's calling for Rafa, guys. He's calling for Rafa.
Honestly, Rafa, Cav, I don't care. At this point, I'm beyond that. I'm more interested in seeing. You know how Atlanta plays. Atlanta likes to play a lot of it through the middle or over the top, and they play physical. So you want that kind of extra disruption in the mid. And I'll keep saying it. I don't love the 4-2-2-2.
No, I can agree with that.
Don't love it. I think that it kind of falls us into a little bit of a trap. You can flood the midfield without having no wings. I feel like we clip ourselves a little bit. And against a team like Atlanta, a 3-5-2 would be – I think that would be pretty tough. I think that would be it shows confidence in the back line. If you are only putting 3 back there instead of 4, you don't need as much – you feel like you don't need quite as much of a recovery team. And I think that's important, especially on the turf. It's a big stadium. It's a big field. It's turf.
And that's something that I'm going to bring up to you. You said big stadium, big field. The Union have really shortened theirs. So that worries me as well. And I mean, they've really shortened it too. And
not NYCFC short, but it's still pretty damn short.
It's still pretty damn short. I'm not saying it's that short, but they went, think about that. We went shorter to a shorter field and NYC kind of owned us. So I'm just now worried. Going on the road it's always going to be a task. It's always going to be a task. But like we said, that worries me. And are we going to see another Alan Chapman masterpiece? Because I think we got him again this game.
I hope not. I didn't look.
I didn't look either. But that, I think for now on, that's one of the things that we got to talk about is whether or not we got Chapman or not, because that's going to determine a lot of the games that we're talking about.
Especially because Chapman's got the bias to us. But last night, you had
and
Serge.
That's not being
Serge has got to be one of the worst in the league. He's got to be bottom 3, if not.
He was awful. He was awful.
So, nice to see the substitution. Let's say that.
Yeah, that was.
But
again, what a rarity.
Yeah, right. With looking ahead though to Atlanta, I think we need that extra power in the midfield. I think that helps the transitional game. And it's going to say something even more controversial. I really like the Uwa Donovan combination.
You really are going controversial today, but that'll probably be the 65th, 70th minute substitution.
I'm not saying to start. I'm saying to even close out the game. If say Baribo's got some miles on him. You know what I'm saying?
I think this is the game he gets a bet. He'll be the super sub.
Baribo?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the joy and the flexibility you have with these three is you got to understand who has the miles on them. Granted, Ua has settled really, really nicely into this super sub role, and I'm a big fan of it. But if you can, like, now that he's a little bit fresher because he's only playing 20, 30 minutes a game, let's give him the 60. Let's let Baribo take a little bit of a breather in the first half, give him an extra 60 minutes or so. Maybe this kind of is the new routine that we have through the end of the year. Is just these three just kind of alternate who's going to be super sub. I'm a fan of it. Like I think it's one of the things that, you know, what was mentioned to me last night by Caffarello, and again, this guy is a pain in my ass, but you know, he's like, oh well, Ua is our top, like our highest paid player, and he's being our substitute. Yeah, but Corey Burke was just as like phenomenal off the bench too. Granted, he wasn't as expensive, but that's what you basically signed up for, was his speed and his ability to finish at the end of the day.
Right.
So, like, again, that's what, if you're looking at it, that's kind of what Ua is known for, is his playmaking ability. And we saw last night his passing and his ability to set up. Great.
I think he'd have to agree to take a pay cut for it to be worth it for the super sub position.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to use that. Okay. Yeah. I just need to refill it. But yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he's going to take a pay cut for obvious reasons. But like, I get the point that that he's trying to make and that you're trying to make. But like, it just seems like it's just going really nicely enough that you can have, like I said, you can rotate all three of them around. Bruno hasn't scored a goal as a starter, so maybe he kind of would fall back into it. But again, with Atlanta coming up, maybe you do see an Ua Bruno start versus, you know, and maybe Ua Donovan start. Maybe Donovan does get a start because you give those two the rest, and maybe give Baribo the rest fully for the whole day, and let Bruno be the full
super sub.
The full super sub. Like you have, I think with this game, you're going to have these up. But those three, I think I really, really am a fan of, and you can kind of, like I said, fluctuate with that.
Yeah. Yep. I think so. If we're looking past Atlanta, because I think for me, the busy month doesn't end at Miami, but the big tests that we had, I think, kind of end with Miami. I think it kind of slows down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's always that's the thorn in the side for us. We're being perfectly honest, and it's not like Dallas is no slouch either. So the good news is we have those guys at home. No, I lied. We're away. So that's even worse of a thing to say about, because again, going to Toronto, what did we just say about Montreal?
Yeah,
and Toronto's a lot better than Montreal at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dallas game in Dallas is actually a beneficial thing for us because Dallas has been atrocious at home.
Yeah, but it's still one of those things, like, which Union team are we going to get? Is it just because we're seeing them at home or away? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, I will be settled if we take a win and a draw. Either of the games. I don't care if we draw Atlanta, win Miami, or win Atlanta, draw Miami. If we take 4 points out of the next two games, I'm confident that we're in a good spot moving forward. It's just about managing the guys through the rest of the season and keeping your positioning.
I want 6 in the next two for obvious reasons, because I want to actually. Who doesn't? I mean, but also as a fan too. Like, let's just think about Messi and Miami have literally owned us since that one game where we chanted "You need Messi," and it's really bit us in the ass ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So for obvious reasons, I want 6, and I think if you come away with 6 in the next two, with 6 points in the next two, you made a statement.
I think every hater and statement has to be quiet at that point.
I'll shut the hell up. You know that for sure. But because I'm the Messi fan. I'm the Messi fan of this podcast. Every Philadelphia Union podcast that I can tell that they're always like, oh, fuck Messi. I'm the Messi boy. I'll defend him till the day I die. I really will. But I want to make a statement against that man. Exactly. Doesn't mean look, dude. You're in the MLS, dude. You're not on my team. I gotta root against you. You know what I mean? I'm going to. So, but that being said, I need them. That maybe a tie in Atlanta I'll be fine with, because it's a turf, it's a bigger field, yeah. But I think you need to win against Miami at home. I think that has to be anything less than that. Anything less than 3 points, I think we're going to be talking that Tuesday night, the 20, whatever day it is. We're going to be pissed off. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be screaming at the thing. All right, let's move us on. 3 things that we're looking forward to Atlanta. Give me your top 3 things that you're looking for, because then we can go to our prediction.
Things I'm looking for a change in that 4-2-2-2. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what I would like to see. And then I'd like to see Uwa hit the back of the net instead of the post, or just barely missing the side or something, or a block shot or something like that. I'd love to see that, get him in his stride. And honestly, I'd like to see a Lucic goal.
I know. I want to see him go crazy again. That man's so much fun to cheer for.
His energy is unbelievable.
I love Lukic. I really do. And just seeing it, like, even side note, because we're talking about his energy. When he got pulled off of Columbus, I don't know. Did you hear him screaming at the fans literally?
Every from section.
The moment he got off the field, he's screaming, "Let's fucking go!"
Arms up in the air. Philly. He's going nuts.
Yeah. He's embodied Philly to an extent too. God, and I love that, man. I really do. I love that, man. Again, you got a fan. When you do something nice for my kids, you got a fan for life. I.e., Jeremy Raffanello holding my son and signing his jammies, fan for life. Lukic taking a selfie with my daughter, like not like going up to a kid, like literally my daughter with her little watch. You take a selfie with him, fan for life. You always sold with you. So I'm gonna one up you one, and I love doing this too. Never mind, my son's gonna one up me on that one. I'm gonna one up you. You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for a Chris Donovan goal at this one. I think this is the game. I really like. I'm not that I'm like going to be the new Chris Donovan #1 fan. Hold on, someone wants to come say hi.
He does love turf.
Oh. Everybody say hello to Oliver Craig Recchi, the man, the myth, the legend. We're talking about our favorite team there, buddy. He's like, that looks like a snap. So, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think Chris Donovan gets a goal here. I with how big of a lead this woman has on us too in our game, I'm gonna go out on a random with this, and I'm looking forward to, I think, an Uwa Donovan goal. I think Uwa, as much as he's been shooting, can you stop yelling in my ear? I think with as much as Uwa has been like playing freely the past 3 games, I think this is the game that we see in Uwa, and he loves playing in Atlanta too. I just looked this up. He's got like 2 goals down there. Mm-hmm. He likes Atlanta. So I'm going to go with – I'm looking forward to that. The second thing I'm looking forward to is I'm looking for a faster start. I get it. We've had a short week, but this is no excuse. Let's build this momentum. We cannot come out against flat against Atlanta because we did against LA and they put 2 up on us. And LA is only good to play in for 45 minutes. Atlanta can play the full 90. Let's be perfectly honest about that. Yep. Okay. The last thing that I'm looking forward to is, you know what, I'm going to go with you on that one. The one thing I'm going to go with is that formation change, because I think they got to spice something up to give these kids and give these other people either time or rest. Because, like you said, Baribo is logging a lot of miles right now. And obviously going down the stretch, this man's got what? Don't touch the picture. This man's got what, 10, 11 goals in the season? I think he's got 11 now.
10.
Or is it 10?
Yeah.
Okay. He's leading MLS. Okay. Like, this is – how? This is he's obviously shown to be our best scorer and right now one of our most valuable players. So we got to rest him when we need to. And if you think you're confident enough to go into Atlanta and at least squeak out a 1-1, 2-2 tie or something, but know you can get a win, I think this is maybe one of those games he's either super sub or you have the confidence in your other 3 strikers to get it. That's my top 3 things. Okay. All right. Actually, you're cooking. Damn it. All right, let me get my laptop or my phone out because we got to go through some point systems. Go to Mama. Go to Soccer Jesus, because God forbid this woman. Dude, I'm pissed. I'm literally so livid that she is kicking our asses right now.
You're livid.
Yeah,
Who had the last minute change?
Oh yeah, you. Yeah, dude, that
really sucked. I'm livid at myself.
Okay, so we had. For the what's the game? Montreal, we texted we did it on our show. Ashley had 3, so we all got a point for a win. Okay. None of us got a point other than that because we all had some crazy ass goal scores. Well, she had Bruno, Baribo, Lukic. You had Uwa twice, Rafa and Dono. I had Baribo twice, Uwa, Quinn, and Rafa. Man, I was wrong. That was a wild one. Wait, no.
Don't we get a point for a goal scorer?
Oh, shit. Tito jumped up a lot, actually. Because Tito had two goal scorer, so I'll give him 1 point for that. And Uwa being man of the match because he got the game winner. So Tito got 4 on that. Damn you. Tito's up to 11. Ashley Taylor up to 16. I am at 9 in last place. No, I am at 10 because I had a Uwa goal. Damn. Wow. What a day it feels to be in the pits right now. What a day. Tito jumps me. It's really upsetting. All right, so then we got Columbus. I gotta pull this up. Sorry, everybody. I have to look through my messages. Don't touch me, little man. All right, so we had more points. They're good. No. Don't yell at me. All right, May 10th, that was the game. 2-2 tie for me. Uwa and Lukic goal with Blake man of the match. So that switched to an Andrew Rick because Blake was hurt. I had 3 points because I got that right. So I'm up to 13. So I got the correct score right, and I'm pretty proud of that. That was a very, very big highlight of my night. Tito in the game against Columbus, 3-1 loss with a Baribo goal. So you did get a point because of the Baribo goal.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley Taylor, 2-1 loss going Quinn. No goal, right? Quinn didn't score one. No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we made some ground on that week. And then we texted last night. And Wednesday night, I went 3-1, Harriel, Quinn, Lukic, with a man of the match going to Lukic. No, shut up. I got 1 goal. I got 1 goal because I had Harriel. I took a chance because I was like, Frankie had a goal, so maybe that's another defender, but I'm going to go Harriel. Ashley Taylor, 2-1. Oh, wait, and a win. And I got a win, so that's 15. Man, this is really confusing. Maybe I should stop doing this on my phone. Tito, 2-1, Baribo and Uwa. Baribo man of the match. But then texted me and said, Uwa man of the match. Damn. Baribo, so you got... He got 2 as well. Because, god damn it.
And I got 4.
Hold on. So you aren't on camera. You don't get to talk. Ashley Taylor, 2-1 win. Gonna go crazy. Frankie and Baribo man of the match. And she is right. She got 4.
Or 5.
Yeah.
Because I had a Baribo goal, too.
No, you got 4.
Baribo?
5. She is right. She got 5.
I got 5.
Fuck. So she's at 21. All right. So this week, Colin at 15. Ashley at 21. And Tito at 14.
Wait, how'd I go backwards? I had 16 previous.
Did you? Oh, did you? Then you're at 16. My bad. I thought it was my fault.
No, I had 6. I think I had 16 before. I don't remember.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go with that. 16, 21, 15. I'm still in last place. Love that for me. Ashley, since you're right here, Saturday's game in Atlanta. In Atlanta. No Andre Blake, presumably. 1-1. You hear that? Goal score. Jesus Christ. She's feeling Jacob right now. She went Gillespie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm going to assume Gillespie's man of the match because he gets the equalizer. Okay. She's going Gillespie's equalizer. Okay, go ahead, my friend.
I'm going to say 2-1 us.
Okay. 2-1.
Yep. And I'm going to say Uwa and Baribo.
Are you going to go Uwa man of the match since you changed it on me last night, or you want to go Baribo?
I think I'm going to go Uwa man of the match.
Go Uwa man of the match. Okay. I as well. I'm gonna go 2-1 as well. Okay, because we gotta make some ground. But I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna go Baribo doesn't play. Uwa gets the first goal because Uwa starts, and I think I'm gonna go on a limb and say Dono. I think I'm just gonna have some fun with it. I really am. Ura, Dono, and then man of the match. I'm gonna go Uwa because no, I'm gonna go man of the match Dono. No, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Game winner.
Game winner because Dono gets the game substitution. Dono man of the match. No, I can't do it. Good conscience of me, I can't. Uwa gets man of the match because he gets the assist. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Dono.
I was choosing Uwa over.
No, listen, I can't.
Think it's because of the goal. I don't think it's necessarily game winner. I think it's because he gets an assist.
I'm going game winning goal, game winning or game First game goal, game-winning assist. So you and I are on the UWA train. We are not here for the UWA hate. Guys, I don't care what anybody says. Do not come on this podcast or this show or in the comment section and hate on UWA. You would not be heard. No one cares. Anyway, that is our show. That is a good one. That is an hour and a half, my friend. Okay, we're going to start doing this weekly.
We're not going to have 5 games today.
No, like that was a lot, but we got a lot of good stuff done. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. We're going to try and do this weekly. It's just Tuesday night. Just Tuesday itself was rough for me. I was not in the right state of mind. And it wasn't because I was drunk. It wasn't because I was high. It was just not a good day. Not a good thing. Yeah, life took a toll. So that is our show. Thank you, Jesse Bell, owner of Old City Sports Network. Thank you for letting us do this. Thank you, Ashley Taylor, for taking care of the baby while I got to talk with my friend Tito here. Tito, love you, man. We will talk to you guys soon, and let's go Union.